All right, Ty. So you're my first interview.
Mm-hmm.
It's our second time doing this.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to even mention the previous interview.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to kind of move on.
Yeah.
So I guess my first question is, this is really squeaky.
Just don't touch it.
Yeah. So my first question would be, what schools did you go to?
I did elementary school. I went to some preschool, and then for kindergarten through second grade, I went to Fall River. And then for third and fourth, I went to Flagstaff, which is a charter school, which is where I met my friend Connor, he's an old friend. He's still a really good friend. I met Dylan at Fall River in second grade, which is my oldest friend.
Dylan Kutzos?
Dylan Kutzos.
Yeah.
And then fifth grade, I went back to Fall River because of Dylan. I was done with Flagstaff. There was some bad stuff with the teachers. And then middle school, I went to Altona for sixth grade. Nope, I didn't go to Altona for sixth grade. I went to Trail Ridge for sixth grade and half of seventh grade. And then for a second half of seventh grade, I did homeschool because I got really depressed. Everybody goes through one of those, but you know,
really?
Yeah.
So for homeschool, who was teaching you?
It was an online school.
It was an online school?
Mm-hmm.
And you did that all of 7th grade?
Half of seventh grade.
Half of 7th grade?
A little bit more than half. Like from October, end of October.
Okay. So, I mean, I've taken one online course in my entire school year, and that was as a junior, and
yeah.
I was never able to complete it.
Yeah.
So what was it like as a 7th grader trying to complete an online course?
It was rough. I didn't do any work. There was this thing where the tests were all, when you finished the test, if you failed it, you could look at the answers, and so I just write down the answers and take the test again.
So you basically cheated your way through second semester 7th grade.
Yeah, I completely took 7th grade off.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, so 8th grade, that's when people really got to started to get to know you.
Because that's when I went to Altona, which was the feeder school to Silver Creek.
Right. So, I mean, what was that transition like? Because you were never really a part of our system at all.
Yeah.
I mean, Flagstaff's kind of connected, but, I mean, what was the transition like?
It was actually really easy because I already knew some people and they had friends.
Sure.
And so I made really fast friends with a lot of people. Like Alex, Armand, Mikey, namely. Those were the three that I'm still really close with now. More friends have come. Some friends have left. Because, like, I used to hang out with people like Garrison Lee and Tim Thaler a whole lot.
Right.
But now we've just kind of, separated. Still say hi to them in the hall and whatever. But.
Right. Well, what was the transition like, not even in terms of your specific friends and making friends, but as going from school to school, what was the overall sort of vibe that you got?
Well, I had been doing homeschool, so it was a long time since I'd been in an actual school building. And so I guess I was a little bit nervous at first, but all in all, I would say the word to describe it was refreshing. It was refreshing to be back into a school environment. And I was introduced to this new thing that people at Altona did that I'd never seen before, where everybody would show up to school a little early and hang out around with each other.
Different levels, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and like the 8th graders would be upstairs, all around the. So, layout downstairs, lunchroom, upstairs. There's like a thing. And so the 8th graders would hang out upstairs. 6th graders would hang out at the door. 7th graders would be in the cafeteria, and then so. Just, I don't know, it was cool.
Because the upstairs overlooked the cafeteria, right?
It made it feel like friends were a little bit more important than they were before. Because it was like, oh, you just have people to talk to in class and whatever, but if you make a point of going to school early to see them,
right,
it was cool.
And we have a little bit that here, but for the most part, people just try to get to class.
Yeah. I mean, like, you'll meet up with your buddies if you have a second before you go to class, but...
And usually it's in very, very... touching this table again. Usually it's in really, really small groups, and it's just along the crescent. It's nowhere near the unity that had.
For sure.
So what was... So when I met you in 8th grade, you were already pretty set on taking the director path,
Yeah.
and you started. I wouldn't not necessarily taking academic steps, I don't think, but I mean like developing stories and things like that.
Yeah, I had 8th grade. I was definitely really set on my career path, and it's I'm doing it. I decided to be a director when I started watching this guy called Cinemassacre. His name is James Rolfe.
Mm-hmm.
He made a couple of different video series, internet, web shows,
Right.
whatever. He would review movies. He would review video games and stuff. But what really got me was one time he made a video talking about how he made all the movies and stuff
Sure.
when he was a little kid. And he would do this thing where he would use 2 VHS players and like record onto the one from a bunch of other VHSs he had that he recorded, and in different ways he would dub audio and things. And it was just like really inspiring to me to see that, and to see him at such a young age. He was being so innovative with
Right.
filmmaking. And so from there I was just like, oh, okay, that sounds like a good idea. And so that's what I decided I was going to do. For a long time I've known I wanted to tell stories, but that's what really led me to cinema.
Right. At what point did you realize that directing is what you wanted to do? I mean, you watched that guy Cinemassacre, but at what point, like what grade level would you say you were in where you're like, I'm going to be a director?
Grade level?
Generally, like
Well, yeah, it was middle school. It was
middle
probably
school?
6th grade, and I remember the moment I was in the bathroom, sitting there thinking about a story, thinking about movies, and I was just like, oh, okay, I'll do it.
This came to a revelation to you in the bathroom of a middle school.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
It was good. It was really good.
That's interesting because when I had first met you, it seemed like you were fascinated with this for years. I mean, I for so long before you just told me this, I always thought that you knew you were going to be a director since like 2nd grade. Like just the way that you would talk about movies and like the stories that you have and stuff like that.
I've been interested. Just okay. Since I was in 2nd grade, I've enjoyed making movies.
Sure.
Like I would do it with my friends and stuff sometimes. I don't have anything to show for it. I kind of wish I did, because like in that video, James had like all these different little clips from the movies he made when he was a kid.
Sure, yeah.
I don't have any of that, but I had been making movies and I'd wanted to make movies and all that. I just didn't have the word director in my head.
Sure, yeah, like storyteller. You just wanted to tell stories. Yeah, I get that. Sure. And then, so then, if it was that, I mean, then that means that you and I decided the same career path within a couple years of each other. And I know that I started to, I mean, I'd always wanted to tell stories as well, but I never really considered directing because, I mean, it's such a specific market that, like, it's hard to accept that you could be a director. So, was there ever a point where you're like, I want to be a director, but there's no way I can? Like,
There wasn't ever a point where I've wanted to be something but not thought I could. No. Yeah, because, well, I mean, like, I've always liked drawing. I'm not that good at drawing. And so, instead of being at a place where I was like, man, I really just want to be an artist. I really just want to draw for a living. I was never in a place there. I was just always like, oh, I'm never going to be an artist. But when I've decided that I'm going to do something, it's never a question of whether or not I can. It's just that I'm going to do it. Because I have this big philosophy where you're not supposed to have a plan B. Because if you have a plan B, that's what you're going to be doing. If you only have a plan A, you have 2 options. And that's either succeeding or dying. And so, just, there's nothing else. There's no other point. There's no other point. So, yeah, I'm going to be a director. I've known that for a while, and I've never really doubted myself. I guess answering the original question, no, I've never doubted myself.
That's awesome. Because, I mean, it's really hard to do that, and the fact that you're so gung-ho is really awesome. For movies specifically, I mean, we're both directors. We enjoy to watch movies, and sometimes our ability to analyze movies can kind of get in the way of just being able to enjoy a movie. There is a difference between like liking a movie because it's good, liking a movie because it's bad. But is there is there a movie in particular that you can think of where you just got to enjoy it? Not even like you liked it because it was bad, but you just got to take in the story and just got to enjoy it without having that innate skill of just analyzing it, getting in the way.
Absolutely, yes. And you're going to hate this answer. But my answer is a movie by the Chiodo brothers called Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh my god.
From the 1980s.
Okay.
And let me tell you why I love this movie so much. I don't know if I've ever explained it to anybody. Everybody knows I like it. It's my second favorite movie of all time, next to Back to the Future. And Killer Clowns from Outer Space, this is what it is. It's a town, just some town. I guess it's a college town. And there's a monster. It's a bunch of clowns come down.
It's a bunch of clowns
in a spaceship, and so it's just the mood of the movie. It's so adventurous. It's like it's a little bit childish, but it's not like. It's like juvenile, like it's inappropriate, and it's not hugely inappropriate.
Right, but it's the aesthetic of the story. Not
it feels really good. It makes me feel like, oh, I'm gonna go on some, like, I'm gonna be in some tragedy with my friends, but it's gonna be funny and filled with cotton candy and popcorn and all this and all the and it's just it's got the police officer that doesn't believe anybody. It's got the main guy that talks real quick and talks real fast and up like this, and he's like, there's these clowns, man, these clowns. It's crazy, and every time I watch it, I can't help but be really happy.
Right.
And I mean, if I were to analyze it, it's obviously not the best movie in the world. The Chiodo brothers.
But it's a cult classic. Like, it's not a bad movie.
So many people like it, and the reason for that is the effects. The Chiodo brothers are primarily special effects people. They decided to make a movie,
right,
but they usually do special effects. Like you know that part in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
That everybody is like, whoa, it's so scary. Like the crazy face part.
Sure. Yeah.
They did that effect, so they do that kind of stuff, and so they made this movie to sort of show off their special effects prowess, and they did it, and that's why people like it, and then that, I guess I just told you why I like it.
I mean, that's a perfect example. I mean, I might not agree with it,
right,
but I mean, because so often people can not necessarily understand that you can like a movie without it being good. And oftentimes those two things can be broken down, but oftentimes people forget this third thing of like just getting to enjoy one, you know?
Yeah.
Where you're not analyzing it at all, so you don't know if it's bad or if it's good. It doesn't matter. It's just a good story.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I try to come back to a lot, and it's good to see that, I mean, I'm not the only one, and there are plenty of other people doing this. So, transitioning more back to school-related stuff, this is gonna sound like a typed up question. It kind of is, but it really is something that I think people should get to do. You know what I mean? There are stories out there that get people connected just because everyone got to experience them, and you're in such a unique position that the only shared experiences you have are really high school. I mean, you have some of the 8th grade stuff, but I mean, that's you don't have any of the context to go to back it. So what was one event or story that you think everyone got to experience and everyone has a different side. Like what's the most memorable event that happened to you in high school that happened within the high school community?
For the whole student body, or can it be like a little bit more specific?
It can be like our class kind of thing.
Well, like, I guess the whole senior class, or can it be, because I mean, I have some stuff from theater.
Yeah, go whatever you have.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have to tell just one.
Right,
you can tell plenty. You can widen
so
out.
I've been a part of the theater troupe, whatever. I've done theater in this school before. I got sorry, I didn't get in the play this year, and that makes me upset. It's my senior year, I didn't get in. Whatever. Anyway, no, but for first year I was here, theater was crazy.
Yeah.
It's cool. It was. Okay, so there's all these different traditions and stuff. Like, one tradition had just been quashed the year before I showed up, which was everybody would play the waiting game. All the guys would stand around with their balls out, and if you saw it, then you got a sock to the not to the face, to the arm. You get punched. And then there's like initiation, which was after the show. Everybody goes to Perkins, which is, Perkins
the little
is
pie restaurant on Main.
Yeah, everybody goes to Perkins after until like 2 a.m. And initiation was like all the seniors would make some really gross drink, and all the new people had to drink some of it. And then if you were a cool guy, then you would drink the rest of it. And oh yeah, during my initiation, Alex Lathrop Melting tried to drink the rest of it, and he drank like little bits of it, like that. And then I strolled up and did the whole thing. Hey Zoe, we're talking about stuff. How you doing?
I'm good. Getting ready for the expo?
Yeah, me too.
Fuck us. Did you get that on camera?
I'll cut it out.
It's okay, no, keep it.
Okay.
I'm just talking about the time that I kicked Alex's ass at initiation. And the first night that we did the... You weren't there.
For the show.
Yeah. But I drank like all of it.
Is that for you can't take it with you?
Yeah. That was good. Why weren't you in that show? Were you?
I didn't get it.
Why?
Isn't that funny?
That's dumb.
Isn't that really funny?
Yeah.
I didn't get in.
That's awful.
But now I'm like the lead in the show, so it's just quite the
Well, it
difference.
comes full circle. I didn't get in this one.
But granted, there were only 4 guys.
Yeah, I know. It was so stupid.
You should do the musical.
I'm thinking about it.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know if the musical and swimming overlap?
You're gonna swim?
Very brief. Oh, because you guys swimming in the spring. I don't know. I mean, they're in the same time, but I don't know how much you'd have to talk to Debbie and to Les.
Yeah. I'll ask around, because I know I'm gonna do one of those.
And Willa does diving, so talk to him.
Okay. I'll do that.
Have fun on your interview.
Thanks,
Zoe. Now I have to actually edit stuff.
No, that's... you got some... Well, okay.
Hey, it was
There
cool.
is.
I got
There's
to interact.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alex was sipping
And then he
the
stopped.
gross
You're
drink.
right. He stopped because he couldn't take it. And then I was like, oh, hey, what's up, fellas? And I just downed the rest of it. It would have been real fast, but I had to stop to chew the drink.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's gross.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this isn't just your average, like, suicide, like lemonade and root beer. Ooh. No. You had to chew the drink.
Every year there was somebody would crumble up a $1 bill and put it in there.
Really?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
That was one of them. I think what I was chewing might have been steak. I don't know. It was gross. It was gross. And hair. There was hair. So yeah, that was a thing. Also salt burns. People would do salt burns. I did one of those where you put you put an ice cube on your arm. Take salt, apply salt to ice cube, and it burns you, and you have a scar for like a year.
Weird.
Yeah. So that was a thing.
Is there one that you have that's more our class? Like, is there a story that you can think of that comes to mind when you think of an event that we all got to laugh and just it was just us?
Mm-hmm. The clapping thing, which is fuck.
Are you talking about during the ACT stuff?
We were prepping for the ACT, not prepping, but
we were doing the fill-out session.
Yeah, registering for the ACT, and some administrator was talking for like actually an hour, and so everybody got sick of it, and the whole entire lunchroom was just started prematurely clapping, and it was really, really funny. That's I guess that was funny.
Okay. Well, who started it? And
it was Alex, I think.
Alex?
Yeah, it was definitely my table, which had like Alex.
That's interesting.
They clapped for a minute and they stopped, and some other table started clapping, and then we're like, oh yeah, and then everybody started clapping.
Right.
It was funny.
I mean, I won't bring this up because I know it'll upset things. But it's interesting because there are different perspectives.
Right. Yeah.
Like there's like 3 different people who started it.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Well, because of the whole like starting and stopping and then
Right, of course.
Right.
So, okay. So your group of friends, the drama, not necessarily drama kids, like Dylan and all those guys. What do you guys usually do outside of school? Like when you're not in school hanging out, what are you doing outside? Like, I mean, it could be as simple as just like listing the things that you do, or is there a time where you're like, wow, this is like who we are, like this single event that we did together, like this story that we have.
Yeah, there's a lot of
summarizes what we do.
A lot of the time we do some like the same stuff, different days, watch movies, whatever, play some video games. Not so much recently though. I think most people are kind of falling off of the whole video game thing. Alex and Dylan and Armand. Yeah, Alex, Dylan, and Armand really like playing board games. Like, not like Monopoly, but like cool big boy board games. But I think the important stuff that we do is like we'll walk around places like late at night. It's, yeah, like me and Michael Eckstein, which for anyone who wants to know, my man, my dude, he's Michael Eckstein, he's my dude, and we walk around places and just, walk around in the nighttime, talk about stuff, look at the stars. It's good. It's
Cool.
a good old time.
Huh. That's cool. Because, I mean, our class, the town we live in
Yeah,
is
we're
so...
boned. We're boned.
Yeah, it's so
the
empty.
town's like, yeah, it's
there's
really
nothing
empty.
there's no options.
We're just getting we got a new mall that has a Whole Foods and a glasses store. So there's no options in the
No options have been presented, which is kind of interesting because
so you got to make your own stuff.
Yeah, it prompts us to have to make up our own stuff, and some people get really creative with it. Some people are just accepting, like, we're just gonna hang out at our house, or in my case, go to the Target and just shop around Target for a couple hours.
Yeah, in middle school, me and my friends would walk to King Soopers and hang out.
And King Soopers is a grocery store. At least Target has like a department area type deal.
Yeah,
it's not even close.
Just like King Soopers, it was 24 hours. It's 2 a.m. Walk to King Soopers. Might as well.
Very cool. So I'm going to. Your unique perspective, I'm going to bring back to point again. You've been to so many schools, and you've seen so many different ways that a school is formatted. Mm-hmm. What is one thing that you think stands out for our school, or our class specifically? Like, when you think of our class, what do you think of?
I think...
Or school.
This might not be exactly what you're looking for answer-wise, but I have a tangent, I think. Our class seems to be one of the last good ones as far as people, because... I mean, there might just be a bad wave going on right now, but all the underclassmen, not all of them, I have some really good underclassmen friends, but a lot of underclassmen seem to be stuck in the 21st century, and I know that's where we are, but I'm just saying, like, in the way of attention span, all-time low because of cell phones and shit, don't appreciate media because of reality shows and mobile gaming, and it's becoming more and more prevalent, and it's really kind of freaking me out because I want there to be cool guys, namely in the theater department. The seniors are like, that's it. I don't know as far as people at our school saying this, but can you give me an answer to that question?
What do you mean?
Are there going to be people at our school that'll see this?
How do you mean? What are you nervous about here?
I'm nervous about shit-talking someone that's going to be watching this.
So here's the thing. We all have an opinion of each other, and some of us are more aware of what that opinion is. Me especially. Understand how people feel. If there are people that you think stand out in your mind, you should be able to go ahead and express that, because they might disagree and other people might agree. You can't. It has to be your own discretion, because if it's a personal vendetta, then yeah, I'm going to tell you don't talk badly about this person. But if it involves like your memory of the school and the memory of our class, then that's important. The bad memories are just as important as the good memories.
Well, then I won't name. I'm not going to name names, obviously.
Oh, of
such
course.
And such is a shithead. No,
it's a fine line, and it's an interesting fine line because we don't want to talk about the bad stuff. We don't want to. Whenever you go to reunions, whoever talks about how like you always picked on me and stuff like that, like, oh well, whatever, I'm just trying to have a good time here. Like, I mean, I get it, but we all experience the same things, and we didn't all experience good things all the time. And we should be able to indulge in both the bad and the good. And hopefully this might be able to help with that a little bit.
Okay, so I guess what I'm gonna say then is that when I was a freshman, there were tons and tons of cool people in the theater department, I guess, at our school.
I mean, Guy is the one who stands out to me.
Guy was all right. Yeah, Guy was cool. Then there's like Joey Robinson, fucking Ben, a lot of cool people. Sorry, didn't mean to cuss. Anyway, a lot of cool people. And then Tavin, and then they all left. Little by little, they were all leaving because it was like they were sophomores through seniors, and then so the seniors were gone, then the juniors were gone, then the sophomores were gone, and now it's just the senior class, and all the new people coming up are okay, not bad people, but I guess a word I would use is lame.
Lame?
Yeah.
So not bad, just like uninteresting.
Yeah. A little bit.
They don't have an X factor. Would you say that?
Man, I suppose. I feel bad. I feel like you might have to cut that part. Whatever. Anyway, moving on. Next question.
Okay. So, would you say that high school, as an institution, or as a specific, or as our specific school, do you think it has made an important influence on your life? Is there experience? Has it created a lasting experience? I mean, it's 4 years. Have you been able to take away something more than just an education? Because it's 4 years of your life that you're investing in this school. I mean, you can't spend 4 years of your life just doing one thing and not developing any sort of personality out of it.
Yeah. Definitely has changed me a lot. I know I'm a way different person now than I was going into high school. Not even just in terms of interests, but definitely that too. It's high school definitely helps you mature, I would say. I feel like I'm much more mature now than I am. You realize what matters and what doesn't.
Kind of beats the nonsense out of you. And,
yeah.
And I don't even mean nonsense in terms of like, oh, I'm a wild and crazy guy. Just like the stuff about you that you don't need.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
It does. It beats the nonsense out of you. It beats the stuff. You lose the things that are unimportant, I guess.
It's not even so much childish because there are plenty of people who need to be childish. Like that's who they are, and it's good that they're like that. Myself very much included. But it's a matured version, I guess you could say.
It sands you down. It helps you decide who you are, because high school's big, so there's a bigger number of kids that you decide to hang out with, and I guess that doesn't mean you have more friends. That means you narrow them down, because in high school you hang out with the people. Yeah, you hang out with the people that are there that are cool, but in the real world you just find people that are cool. You don't need to hang out with anybody.
Right.
So I guess it helps you find yourself, I suppose. So then, I just said that in a bunch of different ways. So short answer, it helps you find yourself.
So, for college and things like that especially will provide that. What or whatever you decide to do after high school, what do you think builds you more as a person? The 4 years that you spend in high school, or those 4 years you spend after high school, whether it be in college or
high school. High school is definitely. Well, I mean, I haven't experienced the other one, but my best guess is that the 4 years of high school are 4 of the biggest changing years. For the years that influence.
The years of most change, yeah.
Yeah, because after that, I feel like, because then that's technically real world, and those 4 years you spend in college, the change is going to be gradual, I think, because by then...
It's more dramatic for high school?
By then you've sort of already decided who you are, unless you have some huge life-changing things, some like midlife crisis or something. But coming out of high school, you kind of are who you're going to be. You just change. You mature in a very social way after that. But for the most part, you are who you're going to be when you're graduating.
Do you have an example or a reason why you think that these 4 years are going to be more influential? Because like you said, we have no idea how influential the next 4 years are going to be. So what leads you to think? I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. I'm just wondering in terms of like, because I mean that you didn't just arrive at that just on a whim. Like things have happened to you to make you think like, wow, I've really changed, and I'm going to change more as a person as the years go on. But right now, I've changed the most.
I've changed a lot. I've changed a whole lot. Going into high school, I was.
Do you think that's universally true?
I mean, I can only speak for myself.
Sure, of course.
Mm-hmm. Some people don't change so much.
Oh, come on. Be fair, I've changed. I'm much calmer now than I was before.
Yeah, a little calmer.
A little?
Yeah.
Give me a little bit more credit than that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no, but thinking... Fuck, I don't want to just table. Thinking back,
it's just too shaky.
Back to
Sorry to all the listeners out there, this table's really uneven.
I used to be a lot more obsessive than I am now, I think. A lot more obsessive about things. I watched... Up until recently, I was really into cartoons, and that was big in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would kind of shove stuff in people's faces, and I was sort of a jackass. I was a jackass in middle school.
And the fact that you've been able to go from, not necessarily one extreme to another, but that you've been able to actually be an I don't want to say enjoyable person, but change from the worst you could be into a better version. Mm-hmm. Is that what you think why you think that now you've changed the most you can? Because at this point you can change more and add to what the progress you've made, but that shift from unenjoyment and being jaded to actually being a person and having a deepened and interesting personality kind of thing? Is that what?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. We'll move on.
So to close out, you're a director. I'm also a director, and I'm clearly aspiring to be a director. Exactly. I'm gonna say we because we're sharing a similar thing here. We're trying to create a career in a field that's so specific. I brought this up earlier and before, where the market is so specific and saturated with YouTube and things like that, where anyone can direct anything they want. Exactly. Anyone can do whatever they want.
Fuck new media. Moving on.
Anyone can do whatever they want, no matter what. So it makes it that much harder for us to be successful in the field that we want to be. So I guess my question is, what do you have to say and what kind of advice can you give to the people who are either struggling in the same way we are, where they're wanting to be a director, actor, the same field as us that's so competitive, or a field of similar competitiveness? What can you say keeps you going? What keeps you not motivated, but what keeps you believing that this is what you can do and that you can do it? Or
I haven't failed yet.
Or I guess what would you say to the people struggling saying that?
Yeah, get to work. Start working on it. And don't stop until you're dead. That's my answer.
Well, I mean, like... Oh, hang on a second. I mean, sure, that's good, but, like, what specifically do you have to offer? Like what can you say you have learned personally about... I'm trying to think of how to phrase this differently so you can better understand. So that you can actually be successful rather than just taking in a dream and saying that, like, you know, I'm going to be a director, but understand that down the line I'm never going to be able to do it. To the people dealing with that, what would you say?
No plan B. I already said it earlier, but I'm reiterating it. Don't have a plan B. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Ty.